He's one of the richest men on Earth, the co-founder of Oracle, and a man obsessed with control and privacy. Hidden deep in the Pacific Ocean, Larry Ellison owns something most people don't even know exists: a private Hawaiian island quietly transformed into his own secret world. This is Lanai, a paradise you can visit but never truly see, an island where luxury, technology, and secrecy blend into something mysterious, something Ellison prefers to keep out of sight. Today, we're uncovering the secret island Larry Ellison doesn't want you to see. Hit like, subscribe, and get ready, because what happens on Lanai stays on Lanai. 1. The island no one knew existed. Between Maui and Molokai sits Lanai, one of Hawaii's smallest inhabited islands, just 140 square miles wide. For much of its history, it was known as the Pineapple Island, once home to Dole's vast pineapple plantations. But in 2012, everything changed when Larry Ellison quietly purchased 98% of Lanai for around $300 million. There was no announcement, no media fanfare, just a billionaire acquiring almost an entire island overnight. From that moment, Lanai was no longer just another Hawaiian community. It became Ellison's private vision, a living experiment in how technology, wealth, and control can reshape paradise. 2. The vision behind the purchase. At first, many assumed Ellison bought Lanai as a luxury escape, another symbol of billionaire excess, like a private jet or a mega-yacht. But his ambitions ran far deeper. He publicly stated his goal was to transform Lanai into the most sustainable island on Earth, a fully self-sufficient community powered entirely by renewable energy, with organic farms, clean technology, and advanced infrastructure leading the way. Ellison envisioned a futuristic paradise where innovation and nature coexist, where residents could live harmoniously with the environment while benefiting from modern technology. Yet, as years passed, one question lingered. If Lanai is a model for the future, why is it so hidden, guarded, and inaccessible to most of the world? 3. The transformation of paradise. Once Ellison took ownership, Lanai began changing rapidly. Public beaches were closed for renovation, and many areas became restricted zones. The island's infrastructure was rebuilt from the ground up, and 2 aging resorts were reborn as Four Seasons Lanai and Sensei Lanai, ultra-exclusive retreats where rooms can cost tens of thousands per night. Sensei Lanai became Ellison's crown jewel, a luxury wellness retreat that merges high-end living with science and longevity research. But not everyone is welcome there. Guests are carefully selected, privacy is mandatory, and filming is off-limits. Even journalists have reported being denied access to certain areas. The more Ellison opened Lanai to luxury travelers, the more ordinary people were quietly shut out. 4. One man's total control. Owning nearly all of Lanai gives Larry Ellison control over far more than just the land. He essentially controls the island's entire infrastructure and economy. He owns the water supply, electric utility, movie theater, newspaper, hotels, and many local businesses, meaning residents' everyday lives, from rent and employment to electricity and essential services, are tied to one individual. In many ways, Lanai has become a modern company town, where one billionaire dictates nearly every aspect of life. To Ellison, this centralized control is efficient, allowing him to implement ambitious projects quickly. But to outsiders, it's a stark illustration of how immense wealth can translate into absolute authority, turning what appears to be paradise into a carefully controlled environment shaped entirely by one man's vision. 5. Experiments hidden in plain sight. Behind the beaches and palm trees, Lanai is quietly becoming a prototype smart island. Ellison's Sensei company develops technology that monitors health, agriculture, and the environment using AI and sensors. The island features hydroponic farms, desalination systems, and renewable energy grids, all part of his push for sustainability. But details about how these systems work are hard to find. Few outsiders know what data is collected or how it's used. Some see Lanai not just as a paradise, but as a real-world laboratory where Ellison tests the future of human living away from regulation and scrutiny. Here, innovation happens in silence, and no one can question what they can't see. 6. A paradise guarded by privacy. Visitors to Lanai often describe it as breathtaking. Turquoise waters, golden beaches, and lush landscapes. Yet the island carries an unusual quietness that hints at something more. Security checkpoints guard private roads, drone flights are strictly restricted, and certain areas are completely closed off, fenced for projects that even locals admit they don't fully understand. Residents have learned unspoken rules: avoid specific zones, ask few questions, and respect boundaries. Journalists attempting to investigate report that locals are hesitant to speak publicly, fearing eviction or job loss. This is not just secrecy, it's a deeply ingrained culture of silence. Ellison believes privacy fuels innovation, but on Lanai, that philosophy has transformed paradise into a place where freedom and access are carefully traded for control, order, and experimentation. 7. The cult of secrecy. Ellison has always been fascinated with control, whether in business, architecture, or community design. At Oracle, he built one of the most secretive corporate cultures in tech, and on Lanai, he's done the same thing on a physical scale. Everything, from who gets to live there to what kind of buildings can be constructed, runs through him or his management team. He's even bought up land that used to be public just to restrict development and keep outsiders away. Many residents say he rarely interacts with the community directly, communicating instead through a network of private managers. Ellison once said, "When you innovate, you've got to be prepared for people telling you you're nuts." On Lanai, no one dares to tell him that, because control and secrecy are part of the experiment itself. 8. Why he keeps it a secret. So why doesn't Larry Ellison want the world to see Lanai? It's simple. The island is his private prototype. Every system, every project, and every experiment is part of a controlled environment designed to test sustainability, technology, and human behavior. Allow too many outsiders, and the data is compromised. Public scrutiny could slow progress, create controversy, or attract unwanted regulation. Ellison's secrecy isn't about hiding luxury or wealth, it's about protecting a vision. Lanai is a living laboratory, and in order for his ideas to work, it has to remain shielded from public eyes. In other words, the island isn't just private, it's unfinished, experimental, and carefully guarded, and that's exactly why most people will never truly see it. 9. The future of Lanai. Larry Ellison continues to expand his vision for Lanai, aiming to make it a model for sustainability, innovation, and wellness. New infrastructure projects include advanced renewable energy systems, eco-friendly homes, and cutting-edge agricultural technology. Ellison also hopes to attract scientists, entrepreneurs, and innovators to live on the island, creating a living community of experimentation. Yet, despite these ambitious plans, Lanai will likely remain largely inaccessible to the public, maintaining its exclusivity and secrecy. The island serves as both a playground for innovation and a laboratory for future urban and environmental design, showing how private ownership allows one individual to shape a microcosm of society in ways governments and corporations rarely can. Lanai isn't just an island, it's a symbol of how privacy, wealth, and innovation can shape the future beyond public view. A paradise that looks perfect from a distance, but whose secrets remain hidden for a reason. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the secret worlds of the ultra-rich. Because sometimes, paradise is meant to be private.